Cruise lines ban a surprisingly large number of people from cruising, and you'll be surprised at how you too may be unwittingly and very easily added to that cruise ban list. A cruise ban list that has got longer due to post-pandemic cruising rules. I'm Gary Bembridge, and I'm going to share with you the 9 ways you can be banned from cruising. Let's start with 3 new bans that will apply basically because of all the post-pandemic cruising rules. Not having a COVID vaccination will, like it or not, mean you're likely to be banned from some, if not eventually all or most cruising. Although it's still evolving, you're likely to be banned from cruising without a vaccine in the following situations. First of all, you want to work as crew on a ship, or even work as a guest speaker, entertainer, or even tour guide. More lines are making this a condition of employment, with the Royal Caribbean Group, Norwegian Cruise Group, Swan Hellenic, Victory, and American Steamboat already saying that this is going to be the case, and other lines are actively discussing it. Secondly, if you want to cruise on lines that have made a requirement for passengers, so far that includes, at the time of recording, Crystal Cruises, Saga Cruises, American Steamboat, and Victory Cruises, who have an older passenger profile. No doubt more cruise lines will follow. Thirdly, if your cruise calls on any country that requires a vaccination as a condition of entry, this, in my view, is inevitable, and this is going to become much more widespread in cruising. We're already seeing many cruise countries in the European area like Greece, Spain, and Cyprus. They're all pushing for all of the EU to adopt the rule they already put in place to allow people in without quarantining and putting no limits on exploring if you've had a vaccine. Linked to that, irrespective of what happens on vaccines, COVID testing is a key part of the return to cruise protocols and looks like it will be that for a while. You will be banned if you test positive before boarding, of course, but also importantly, you will also be banned from cruising if you've been in close contact with anyone testing positive for 14 days before the cruise. And that's according to the various updated cruise contracts that I've read and seen so far. Another new ban has come into place through the return to cruise protocols, where lines are building into their cruise terms, conditions, and contracts the right that they can ban anyone who breaks any of the new guidelines and rules that are being put in place. Now, you agree to these rules when you book your cruise. You automatically agree to the cruise contract. So, for example, in the Royal Caribbean cruise contract, it now says the following. I'm going to quote this. Any non-compliance by passenger or members of passengers travelling party with carriers' COVID-19 policies and procedures shall be grounds for refusal to board, refusal to reboard after going ashore, quarantining on board the vessel, disembarkation, reporting to governmental or health authorities, or other steps deemed necessary. So pretty strong ruling. So if you don't wear a mask, for example, you're not honest in the health screenings, you wander off the cruise line only excursions, you refuse to go and do the onboard temperature checks or testing, maintaining social distancing, sticking to the capacity limits in venues, staying quarantined in your cabin if asked to do so, and all those kind of things, you will be banned and without compensation. So now let's look at the 6 other reasons beyond those new rules where you could find yourself subject to a cruise ban. Now, you can be banned for simply being the wrong age. First of all, there are a number of adult-only cruise lines which ban travellers that are basically too young, which is unusual but true. So, for example, Saga Cruises requires their passengers to be over 50 years of age. Virgin Voyages requires guests to be over 18, and P&O Cruises has some ships, for example, in their fleet that are only open to over 18s, and so on. Secondly, lines actually ban people under 18 or 21 out of the US and Canada traveling without an adult. Now, there are some exceptions to this. So, for example, if you're a couple and you're aged 16 to 18 or 16 to 21 in the case of the United States and are married and can prove it when booking, you're allowed to travel. Or in fact, if you're under 18 or 21 and in the military, you're also able to travel without an adult. It's also worth noting that most lines ban under 18s or under 21s again in the US from sharing a cabin with someone also under those ages. And the way you get around that is the adults you're traveling with have to either be in an adjoining cabin, next door, or right across the hall. Lines also ban people under 18s, again under 21s from the US, who are not traveling with their parents or legal guardian without any sort of written permission. Under 18s also have been banned from taking part in test cruises in the US, which are required by the CDC as part of their framework for the return of cruising. But again, that's kind of a bit of an exception. Now, thirdly, although it varies a little bit by line, many ban babies aged 6 months or less for shorter cruises, and the ban actually increases to 12 months or longer for exotic cruises like transatlantic crossings. But certainly any cruise that has 3 or more consecutive sea days bans kids 12 months or younger. In a really obvious one, and not surprisingly, if you create trouble, act in a dangerous way, break the law, or threaten or abuse a crew, you will also be banned by the line and for life. So for example, there have been passengers who've been trying to create crazy social media viral shots by doing stupid things like climbing over railings, climbing between cabins. They've been banned for life by Royal Caribbean. An Australian group, they got into a massive brawl on Carnival. They were disembarked and they have been banned for life. Passengers have even been banned after they've been caught smuggling drugs on the ships and for other kind of criminal acts. So basically, being bad, causing trouble, you will be banned. One thing I haven't been able to find out though is if the lines share that information and if you're then banned by everyone or just that line. Pregnant women are also on the ban list. Anyone who enters a 24-week of their pregnancy during the cruise is also banned. And this is because the medical team, they have no expertise in pregnancy and childbirth. However, the ban does not always apply for river cruising. So if you are getting later in your pregnancy or will be later in your pregnancy and you want to cruise, that could be an option. And this, of course, is because river cruise ships are always close to medical care and hospitals. The lines also hold the right in their contracts to deny boarding and ban you if you try and bring a pretty wide range of items on board. So that includes recreational drugs, guns, stun devices, knives, explosive devices, swords, or any item that could be used as a weapon, fireworks, drones, hoverboards, balloons, and it goes on and on and on. But in practice, other than for illegal items like recreational drugs, the lines are more likely to confiscate them and hold them until the end of the cruise. But beware, bad packing choices, particularly recreational drugs, could and is likely to have you banned. The cruise lines have pretty few bans or exclusions for medical conditions, and they are able to accommodate most with notice, although they do say in their contracts, and I'm going to quote this, you must ensure that you are medically and physically fit for travel and that such traveling will not endanger yourself or anyone else. So you do need to check before boarding, as they may require you to do things like hire equipment for your cabin if you need any, only let you travel with or bring a carer to assist you, and some also restrict or limit support dogs other than guide dogs for visually impaired guests. So it's a bit of a minefield that you need to check around. The cruise contracts say things, and again I'm going to quote this, guests affected by a disability or medical condition must be self-sufficient or travel with someone who can provide all the necessary assistance. So if you can't do that, you will be banned, and checking is really, really key. So for example, at the end of last year, Cunard placed a ban on guests who needed additional oxygen, and they said, we are not able to accept guests who require supplementary oxygen, medical ventilation support, or dialysis. There is then a catch-all option the lines have for banning people, which is if the captain decides to ban you for any reason because they think you are going to be a risk to yourself, the ship, the crew, or passengers. So watch out for that one too. It's a catch-all for having you banned if you fall foul of anything. If you found this interesting, I have hundreds of other Tips for Travellers episodes, so why not enjoy another one right now?